Welcome to Season 3 of Trap Talk.
Brought to you by Craigoff, the choice of champions.
Welcome back to another episode of Trap Talk from the Back Fence. I'm your host, Zach Nannini. I'm here with the one and only co-host, Richard Marshall Jr.
What's up?
We are live in Tucson, Arizona at the 2024 Autumn Grand. We've been getting a little bit of wind. We've been getting some targets blowing around.
Little chill in the morning.
Little chill in the morning, but the sun's coming out.
Yeah. It's great.
Casino's still treating us well. We haven't lost too much.
So I'm good.
That's good. And we've got Randy Freston, one of our show sponsors.
Outlaw Engineering.
Outlaw Engineering, and his son Coop.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on the show, guys. Thanks for the support. Thanks for
having us.
Well, Ricky, I know you have a long relationship with Randy. You've known him for a very long time. Would you mind introducing how you guys met and a little bit about him?
We met in about 1988 through Frank Hoppy at, I think it was at Salt Lake Gun Club, wasn't it? Was it Spanish?
Club, yep.
Okay, at Spanish Fork.
Yep.
So I've been going there for, since I was 13, 12, something like that, I guess it'd be.
I think it was at your first year that you came there.
Probably with Frank. We used to come out there and shoot all, different, the Labor Day shoot, Memorial shoot. We spent a lot of time in Utah. But Randy's dad, R1, Randy goes by R2, then Coop, he's R3, R skinny. But
Light R.
yeah.
That's a lowercase r.
But
1 ounce.
The 1 ounce R.
he's 1 ounce.
1 ounce.
But R1 was president of the ATA in 1989. So I was fortunate to, of course, know Randy, his whole family then, his mom, Ann, and his sisters and stuff. They all come to the shoot, and Coop's aunts.
Yeah.
And they come to the shoots at times, and we shot a lot of shoots at Salt Lake, Spanish, Vernal. So around that, and then Randy, of course, as you know, is our show sponsor. Outlaw Engineering.
He loves
He came
us.
back to
I don't know why.
a couple years ago after a long hiatus.
A long hiatus.
Long hiatus of shooting.
22,
23 years.
Yeah.
That's a hot minute.
I had to get that business going.
Yeah.
That's a smart man.
So that's where.
That helps pay for shells.
Hey, see the Outlaw Engineering?
I like
Me
it.
and Outlaw, got to go too.
Gold too.
That is Kooper's first official sponsor.
Already is.
Coop, you're good.
You gotta
can
be-
shoot for a while.
You got to be good to him. So the question I want to ask you, R2, is what was it like growing up in the trap shooting community with your dad being the president of the ATA? Like, how was that different than most people's involvement, and what was your experience as a young person kind of growing up in the game?
Sure, good question. So literally, it was joked that I was born at the gun club,
Yep.
So by the time I was able to walk, they were like, here, just fend for yourself at the club all day. It was old school stuff from, the Vernal Gun Club days and obviously Mitchell's Club in Salt Lake.
Salt Lake, the old Salt Lake Gun Club.
And it's funny you asked that, Zach, just because the fact of with Dad being on the political side so much, like, we'd get to the club and it'd be like, see you at 9 o'clock tonight.
Correct. Yeah.
Where we're now, like Coop and I, we're slowing down. We're able to enjoy it. And I always telling him, like, smell these roses, like, cause look, we're hanging out, we're not. It was different for me. Not that it was bad. He was doing his part to help the ATA at that time, So
All the politics, and that's what it is. I was
Sure.
fortunate to travel with Lucky Nightingale, and he's passed away now, but Lucky was
he had the
president.
coolest animal head collection.
Yes, he did. And it was funny. We were in Florida. He lived in the Eagles. I stayed with him. We got to the gun club. He'd drop me off, and he'd say, okay, we'll be leaving about 7 o'clock. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I got meetings and shooting. He'd shoot, meetings, shoot. And I'm like, okay, so I'm wandering around. And then, dude, it was like 7 o'clock. He's like, where you at? Vroom, jump in. We'd
Time to
go,
go.
grab something to eat, to bed. And that was every day. And I told him one time, we drove to the Dixie Grand. I said, that's a lot of work. And he had boxes and papers, and I was fortunate to go. That's where he was one of the first to do the All-American system. Okay, the points.
Yeah.
So I
Lucky, huh?
Yes, Quentin
That was-
Nightingale.
he invented that.
Well, he was the one that came up with that.
Because
the
before,
president.
wasn't it just a vote? Wasn't it just like, hey, they get around and they'd say who's captain this
Well,
year?
they'd look at how the grand finished out for
Some
everybody and
wins.
stuff. Yeah, but it was interesting, and I really kind of felt bad for him. At the Dixie Grand, we stayed in the fifth wheel together. So I had a place to come back, and at night he'd come and he'd just sit there in the chair, and he was exhausted. And I'm sure you had the same thing with your dad.
Yeah,
because it's a lot of work. I mean, people don't see what goes on behind the scenes.
Sure.
To run an organization.
Yeah.
Like I said, Zach, you've dealt with that a lot. Now, Did you travel to a lot of shoots with your dad?
Oh
then?
yeah.
About every one.
We went. Yeah. It was.
What age did you start?
Start shooting?
Yeah,
Um,
American trap.
So I started like practicing when I was 10.
Okay.
And I was so skinny. Like
He was smaller than R3.
Our R1 was like, you're not shooting yet, right?
Yeah.
And so I was 12, I think, when I got going. It was 91. I got my ATA number, and then it was that 91, 92 target year.
Yep.
It was when I started shooting. I shot a 1100 semi-auto with the barrel cut on it to start.
Yeah.
And then when R1 was president, Daniel Perazzi made me a special TMX gun in '89.
Yep.
It had like a 28-inch barrel, custom. I mean, the only one
shorty.
ever made. Yeah,
Shorty.
screw-in chokes, and we put the receiver in a little stock they had made for me, and that was my first gun. And the cool part is Kooper actually
I
shot
ended
with
up
that
shooting.
gun to start with on his
I
rookie
remember that
year
when you
last
told me
year.
that.
Yep.
That's really cool that you were able to shoot it as a kid, and then he's able to shoot it now. And it's kind of that third generation,
Really cool,
like the
yeah.
trap shooting family. But getting back to your youth, from now to then, you had that 22-year hiatus where you weren't shooting trap.
Mm-hmm.
What did you see different about the ATA or about the shoots then versus now? I mean, maybe some pros, cons, positive, negatives in your mind, just as an outside observer, someone that's been involved. How did that go in your mind?
Sure. Well, I followed it, right? Because I mean, for me, I know everyone says it, we're trap shooters, it is our life. Because it was that. I had no other. I had to be disciplined. And so I followed it. Me and Ricky have been friends forever. Literally, he's like a brother to me. And so once Facebook came around, I'm like, well, there's the big homie. We're on a friend list now, right?
Big homie. And I'm like, where's little homie man?
So he's getting weight. He's getting strong.
But it was so hard. And I'll get to your point, but it was so hard sitting back, getting Outlaw going.
Yeah.
Right? Watching him have fun.
Live the dream.
And do what and he's one of the best ever in the world. And here he goes. I'm seeing it all these year after year after year. So that's one thing. But the other thing back to that is you watch the politics change throughout the years, depending on people's agendas or different things. The one thing that, like my dad, he was a proponent for good targets.
Okay.
Yeah.
He always had a thing where he's like, if I throw a good target, the people are going to come shoot. And so then you have the people on the other side that have that. I'm not getting into that, but that's what dad was. And so I always kind of watch things, and you watch the trap shooting forums, and people would maybe talk something here or there on it, right? And so I watched it, but I missed it so bad. I missed shooting so bad. And so like after that time, when dad passed in 15, we stopped by the Western Grand. And right in the parking lot was Ricky, Bill, and Sean. I'm like, hey, come here, man. And Ricky's like, R2, he's like, you have to start shooting. You got to come shoot again.
Come back.
And I was like, I am, right? I said, I got to get these twins raised. So Kooper has a twin sister named Chloe. Okay. And so I was like, I got to get these twins raised. And so I was this close to getting ready to start shooting again.
And then he had another set of twins.
And we had another set of twins.
You don't miss, man.
No, I don't miss.
Kobe, don't miss.
Doubles must be his favorite game.
I'm working on my average.
He gets both of them. And, it happens. I don't want to make you blush. Dad don't miss. That's all.
Dad don't miss.
Dad don't miss.
Holly's like, not again.
No, I wouldn't go for 3 on that day. You got to stop.
There's no more.
You hit 2 jackpots at a casino, you go home.
You go home. You leave.
We've done fixed that. So it was cool though, because then I had to wait again before I got going, because I just was like, hey, Kooper and I are going to start shooting, right? So,
yeah, Mama would be like,
yeah. It was good because finally, once they got there, a Utah shooter named John Vasquez, he stopped by our house, a week after the Western Grad. He's like, hey, you're coming to Spanish Fork next week to shoot. And I was like, no, I'm not. And Holly said, yes, you are. And I looked at her, and Coop looked at me, and she's like, we'll be there. And I said, you have no idea what you just did.
you just got yourself into.
Because I had 23 years of pent up potential, kinetic energy ready to go.
He's like that rocket. He's just getting ready to
It
go.
was and we shot 18,000 targets last year. Cooper and I. Yeah. So.
And that's the best part is you're getting to enjoy it with Coop. And Holly comes along too, and the kids, they were in Vegas.
Sure.
They're always at Vernal. And that's the cool thing is, Zach hasn't experienced that yet because he's not a dad yet, but when he does, it's like with Tyler.
I can help you on doubles.
I don't want any help from you. Well,
But it's so true, though. It's cool to be able to, when I get to shoot with Tyler, it's just like Justin, he's got Wyatt and Barrett.
The whole
and,
clan.
and to shoot, and when you get to shoot with them, it's a different deal. I mean, you want them to shoot better or as good as you do.
Sure.
Well, you probably
Better.
get more enjoyment out of seeing him shoot a good score than you shoot a good score because you shot good scores.
1,000%. Yeah.
I would say that, and my dad shot.
Yep.
And I shot, and he was always really excited when I shot good. I mean, that was,
1,000%.
he just really loved it. And, I was excited when he shot good too, but for him, he was just there for the experience because he loved to be around the people. He loved the community. And if you look at the vast majority of trap shooters, most of them aren't Ricky Marshall or Dagan Voigtman or like these people that are coming to win every single event. Like, they're people that want to come and enjoy the camaraderie, the events, their families,
Sure.
the dinner, like all the stuff they did at Las Vegas. I mean, the after party, right? I mean, I think that's
you
where
were
a lot
there, were you?
of couldn't make it, but that's where the memories are made.
All right, folks, we got to take a quick second and give a huge shout out to our title sponsor, Craigoff. Me and Ricky both shoot him. We both love him.
Yeah, best gun in the industry. I shoot them, I sell them. Nothing better, folks. Get yourself a Craigoff, your scores will increase.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky's got hundreds and hundreds of hundreds with his. I mean, I've got a few hundreds, but I'm always working to get a little bit better, and they definitely help me, that's for sure. So on top of that, we also got to thank Winnig. I'm wearing the shirt today. Love this shirt. If you're down at the Grand, pick one up.
Yeah, Winnig, like I said, Zach, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds with my Winnig stock. Get a hold of Bobby, Luke, Bill, get an appointment set up. They will make you a better shooter with that Winnig stock.
Of course, yeah, the Grand's the great place to do it. Give them a call, get on their book. It's worth your time.
Just remember, winners shoot Winnigs.
With that being said,
Let's get back to the show.
When did you start shooting, Coop?
The beginning of 24, the 24 target year.
So how old are you
Last
now?
year.
I'm 14 now, almost
Okay.
15.
So 14, and you had a strong score today. I know you said you had a 99 going to the last box, ended with a 94, but that's still great shooting.
We
right?
still did good, Coop, even though we both had
both had-
94s, and we both had 20s on the last track today.
Hey, two guys going with
It
99s
happens.
come out with 94s. It happens.
It happens.
But that's, I mean,
My
that's,
squad mate was dropping shells on the mic. That's what I think.
no, I don't think it was that. The other day I seen the forward ejecting Craig off, but it wasn't today.
Every one of my shells ejected out.
Not
I
today.
went,
Today you were good.
I went, I'd have shot each target 100 times the same way, and guess what? It'd have been the same outcome. Now, Coop's outcome was a little different. He had some trap kids throwing boxes out and causing stuff, which we don't recommend that. If that had been me, I would have stopped and had the puller go down and pull the kid out of the house.
Yeah.
And that's just a learning experience for you.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, he's throwing boxes out. Can you just go tell him to come out of the house? And 99% of the time, the squad hustler, the line rep, whoever will, or the puller will say, oh yeah, no problem, go get him. And they'll be like, oh, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Because they don't understand. They're working. They just don't understand that people can see that.
See, and I like that this is a part of the show that people need to hear, right?
Absolutely.
Someone
It's a
like us
learning
that's been
experience.
out for X amount of years coming back in, or Coop knew. I
Yeah,
love all the
exactly.
stuff that you guys put down because you got to pick it up and you're adding to that just that knowledge
We're,
base, right?
yeah, and it's just the little things. And it's like yesterday, or no, yesterday in the singles, the kid was throwing some targets out, and I stopped and put those in the handicap. And I put the gun down, and Bullard, I looked over, and Bullard goes, "Did you see that?" I said, "Yeah," and I thought, okay, if it happens one more time, I'm gonna ask the puller to go get him. Just go tell him, don't do that.
Yeah, because sometimes it's a one-off, right? One time, maybe they might have a broken target in their hand, they toss it out, and they don't
They're
know any
meaning
better.
to throw it out, but it goes sideways.
But the boxes usually, if they toss a box,
It's going to go south.
It's going somewhere that it shouldn't.
especially with the wind. And in that situation, I think it's better to send somebody down there to check it out because he's probably throwing more than one box. He's probably about to throw a bunch of boxes, and you just stop it real quick and kind of gather yourself. But it's hard because if you haven't been there and you haven't watched the show and you don't know, like, what do? You just go through.
But
it,
he's
right?
watched the show.
So the
They
first
fall
thing-
asleep in the show.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I
They do.
fall asleep watching
Holly
that
has
shit.
videos of them all sitting on the couch watching the show, sleeping.
So the younger girls, the younger twins, they think it's cool because they get to see the guy that's on TV. If you would come to Vegas,
If
you
you've
would
been to
know.
Vegas, dude,
They would
he embarrasses him so much.
I heard
funny.
that Vegas changed a week. Is that true? Is it a week later this next year? Is that true, or is that a rumor?
Right up against the Autumn.
So then I'll be there next year.
Oh, see, now we're talking. And now they can meet the other
Now
guy
you gotta
on
sign some
TV
hats.
too.
I don't know if anyone wants my signature. I was telling everyone today. They said, "You want to sign a $1 bill?" And I said, "It'll be worth $1 if I sign it."
Oh, I said 90 cents.
See, I don't.
Deflation.
Where's my
Deflation.
Where's
My
my
little homie here.
Where's my props? You know?
Let's talk to the financial guy about
It's
deflation.
deflation. Hopefully we're gonna get some inflation with.
Not too much. We already got some inflation, but we'll be all right.
All right, folks, we got to take a real quick break and acknowledge the official target of the ATA, White Flyer. They've been sponsoring us since the beginning, and they make a great target. What do you think, Rick?
It's the best target in the ATA. Shout out to everybody there, all the reps, Bill Daniels, Josh Taylor, Nick Arnold, Robert Crow, everything they do for the sport and all the shoots. Really appreciate it.
They're always there. They're always trying to make a better target, and they're always supporting the game that we love so much. With that being said,
Let's get back to the show.
But back to topic. I guess one thing I want to hear perspective on from you, R2, is how much different or better is it now being back in the game, watching him shoot, versus being a kid in the game, going up with your dad in the game? Like, what was the dynamics? I mean, did you have more fun then as a kid? Do you have more fun now? I mean, is it just
We had a
different
lot of
completely?
We had a lot of fun.
We had a lot of fun.
And the good thing is they didn't have cell phones, they had social media.
Me and little homie had a lot of fun.
We didn't have cameras. That is their key. But I'll tell you a big one. Literally, was the pullers, right?
Yeah. We shot
versus the voice release, right? And so I mean R1, when there's a slow pull, I mean if looks could kill, oh my, right? He did not like a slow pull. And so that's different, right? And so I'm not saying that the technology or the mics won't have an issue, but that eliminated that, right?
Yeah.
So if someone has something where they put the gun up and pause, right? Like I do, clearing my eyes out, and a puller would be like, boom, here it goes. And so now Coop doesn't have that. It's different.
Yeah, it is a different dynamic. I mean, we've had to adjust a couple mics this week just because, sometimes they're not always fresh. They've had them sitting for a while. We had some slow ones the other day that we got tightened up. But I think in general, it's a lot more consistent shooting off a Canterbury and a Pat than a handful. And the gun club that I started shooting at was Metcalf's Field Sports Park in San Jose, California. And Metcalf used to be the Winchester Gun Club, and they only had Winchester handsets and they had hand pulls. And then they went to Pat traps and hand pulls. And then like the last year I shot there, it's when they finally went to voice calls. But I was fortunate enough that I grew up on a hand pull target. Every single practice target I shot was a hand pull target for the first couple years.
Sure.
And I think that
You didn't do that. You'd had the hand pull, didn't you? Like the real hand
Very
pull?
first time I shot trap.
That's what I thought.
Was off the old hand
That's what I
cock
thought.
and then pull.
Yeah.
And my dad said, if you want to shoot, you've got to be able to cock the trap and release it. And I got one done, and I was like, man, I mean, these dudes that are doing it, I mean, they must have been, arm wrestlers, because it was like, it was a lot of work.
I never did.
It was crazy.
I figured back when you were doing it was like last ball and thing like that. But it's that's when he reaches on the table, folks. Excuse me.
It's on.
But it's a different dynamic now. And I tell, and you guys have heard this 100 times on the show, is, like today I was doing some lessons after we were done shooting with some people. I did a giveaway for, shout out to Cassie Grand. They had a breast cancer awareness shoot last year, and I did a giveaway for their shoot for Tiger, the owner, and the people that bought it came down and telling them about it is, shooting hand calls versus voice call. Voice call and pat trap now, you can go set a trap to wherever you want and stand there and shoot all day.
Work on it,
when I was a kid, my dad had to do it all.
Sure.
That's the big difference. But we did, even today in the handicap, our third trap was a little slow.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, well, just keep the gun still, and that's the little things you got to tell yourself.
But back to my point, I think if you're shooting on that, at least practicing on it, at some point in time, it teaches you to be a little bit more deliberate. And I found a lot of shooters that are really good shooters had shot a lot of hand pulls at some point in their career or at least practiced on them, because it's going to teach you to hold steady with the gun. And I think if you can hold steady with the gun and not move on the call, before the target comes out and you're shooting on Canterbury's and Pats,
Yeah.
it's only going to get better.
Well,
Like
just
you're only
remember-
going to shoot better.
Remember the days in Missouri, when the fall handicap, we had 1,000, 1,200 shooters there, and it was all hand pulled. And you'd get on a bank and you'd be like, oh man, that dude's pulling.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, just keep the gun still.
Right.
And I remember breaking some good scores.
You
I remember
adjusted to
watching
them.
Leo.
You have to.
I remember watching Big L shoot and the puller being absolutely hideous, and that gun never moved. Pull, bang. And I'm sitting there like, and they never said a word. And all he would say was, make sure your finger's on the button. Because some of them,
Really?
remember back in the day, they'd hold their
Dink.
ding, and that would take a little bit. And then, oh, my finger on the button. Oh, okay.
Fast.
Bam. Just little things. And that's like yesterday when we were shooting, we had remember we got done with the handicap, and the one lady said, hey, that girl's new over there. Be nice to her. So we know that. I told her, I said, hey, if you have any issues, just hit the off button. She goes, what? And I go, if there's an issue, just push this button and it'll shut it off.
Call timeout.
Oh, perfect. And guess what? After we were done, she's like, hey, I appreciate that. I learned something that if there's an issue, I gotta do not freak out.
Stop it. Yeah, because they get flustered and then they start putting the scores in the wrong spot. I mean, all you
Yeah.
got to do is stop it and just say, yeah, it might be inconvenient for a second. Guys are like, hey, why isn't the target not? Hey, I got a scoring discrepancy.
Yeah.
Let's fix it and take care of it now. Move forward, and it's just better for everyone at the shoot. So
Also, we've got Mid-State Precious Metals, Ron Prescott. He's a great guy for all your gold and silver needs. Ricky, tell him about our friend.
Yeah, Ron, he graciously donated a 10-ounce silver bar to our live in-person podcast in Tucson. And, he has everything. I bought a bunch of silver from him. We got our silver and gold for the fun day at the Nevada State Shoot on Monday this year. John got all the silver and gold for the Nevada State Shoot. So look him up for your silver and gold needs. He'll give you the best price out there.
He really is, and he's a friend of the Trap Shooters. I mean, he's looking to get gold and silver to these gun clubs for their shoots at the lowest price across the country. He's doing them a service and helping grow the sport. So, thank you so much for that, Ron.
Yeah, thank you, Ron. We appreciate
With
it.
that being said,
Let's get to the show.
Coop, I heard you just got a new K80. Is that?
Yep.
So
I started shooting it yesterday.
how you liking it?
I love it. It's really the difference in your scores.
So what'd you get? Unsingle, top single,
single.
combo?
Top
What'd you-
single.
Okay.
Top single, it's a nitride plantation scroll. Is that the one? No? You didn't get that
He
one?
didn't get that one.
Oh, I forgot.
Somebody had to take it.
Somebody had it.
So is that what
So
you're shooting?
little homie got a new plantation scroll and top single.
Okay.
And he's got just a standard one, but I told him, I said, just let him shoot it. I mean, what?
We about did.
So you both are top single, top
Yeah,
singles.
yeah.
Now, is there a reason why you guys gravitated to the top single versus the unsingle?
They both shot top single
Yeah,
Brazzies.
just
and
growing
so
up. So that's just, I've never
what
shot
you're
an
used to.
unsingle.
Never shot one.
I've never even shot one. I put one up yesterday the first time with Ricky over at Game Masters.
Game Masters, and he said, oh.
Can see a little bit different there.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the West Coast, I mean, you get the Benias boys and the Californians and the Barrazi, obviously. There's a lot of top guys from the West
Oh, yeah.
Coast. I mean, we've seen a lot of top.
And that was in Utah.
You
for
kind of
us.
go X amount of states over. You've got tops, and then you get to the Midwest, and you've got the Ricky Marshalls, the Harlan Campbells, even Ray Stafford, and these unsingle guys. And it's just there's this divide of like people that all
they
shoot
didn't have
unsingles
them
over
back in the
here.
day, that long ago. The Grand American One, I started shooting in 1989, and Prazzi, and that was kind of a new deal then. Now the Katie stuff they had, because that was Kay was shooting the unsingles back in the early days, but a lot of people didn't shoot them. I liked it because I was like, man, there's
You
no
can see,
like barrel.
you can
Because I
see.
started with an MX3. I loved it. I mean, I broke my first 100 straight with an MX3.
Right.
But I just that unsingle. And I've been shooting unsingle since '89. Now I've shot the top single. I don't mind it. I think it moves
Generally
for
quicker.
me a little whippier.
Whippier, yeah. Yeah, I always think that the top singles just tend to be a little bit more fast off the line, a little whippy. I think the unsingles, you obviously have more field of vision, so that's just how you shoot. But there's some people that really shoot off the tip of the gun. So, I shoot off of vision. I think Ricky shoots the same way. You're seeing the target, you're looking at the target, you're not looking at barrel reference. But then there's people that shoot with the barrel. I mean, Benitez always told me, he says he's looking at the target, but he knew where his barrel was, and he was like almost trapping the target, using the barrel and blotting targets out. If he ever needed to go grab
the hammer,
something,
like
he
Bullard.
yeah,
The
he
hammer.
could go grab it out and take that barrel and just dot the target out with the barrel and actually use it as a point of reference.
You can, and now, Coop, so what's your over and under barrels? 30s?
Yeah, they're 30s.
Yeah, that's not ready to go.
Kooper is the Utah State handicap champion.
Yes, he is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What'd you break to win that?
97.
97.
Coop's on it. So Coop, are you focused on any goals for this 2025 season? Is there anything you're trying to get done or anything you're working on, or are you just trying to have fun and see what happens?
Probably the biggest thing is making the All-American team.
Okay. It's a big goal. So do you guys have your shoots mapped out for the year, kind of where you're going to go, or are you guys just fitting in what works with the work schedule and the school schedule?
Don't ask an engineer if he has it mapped out.
Yeah, God. You asked that question?
I had to ask.
Little homie's got a book.
I don't ask, I just go.
Yeah,
you
you
just
just
gotta-
load up.
So I took it and I put it in our GIS app and I start just plugging in our dates and times and they can query it and get it all done and it's all set up and we're ready to roll. And so make sure you get Las Vegas on your to-do list for next year, Zach, and I can help you with this app if you'd like.
You know, I'm not an engineer. I'm a natural people person. I think you could help me
You
with this
are?
spreadsheet. Well, that's what Ricky
Who
tells
would've
me.
thought
That's what Ricky tells me. But I think that might help. So I don't have any overlap. You know, overlap's a bad deal. But I guess
better come to the 77.
if you're there, I'm there.
It's mandatory.
If you're there, if
The
you're out there,
food,
I'm
the
there.
drinks,
Hey,
the
Poker tournament.
the poker. Me and Ricky were on table one.
We
at the
were
poker.
table one.
You heard it here first, folks.
And
John's
Kooper-
running 77.
Cooper was my anchor to get me through that.
That was painful.
I don't know how you're going to top 76 though. So we're gonna have to.
I got plans.
We got plans.
Hey, don't ever tempt John that he can't. He,
That's
he will
right.
make
All
it
right,
happen.
77 is going to be
So
the greatest.
what's some of the shoots that you guys are thinking about hitting?
So we're at the autumn now. We'll definitely hit the spring. I want to get to Florida one time. Try that. I've never
Come to
been there.
Southern.
R1 and Ann went there.
Yep.
And then we'll hit the Western Grand. We'll hit the Utah State shoot. We hit California last year. It was awesome. I won the California non-resident handicap.
Yep, that's right.
This year?
95.
Yeah, the week after Coop won
Taking
it.
trophies down,
Yeah,
baby.
that was good. It was good. So we don't have a lot of big wins coming out and breaking the rust off, you know. So it
But
was
you're
fun.
getting back in it. I mean, 18,000 targets for your first full season. You're gonna learn quickly. I think there's a learning curve. I think a certain amount of targets, you know, you're like, okay, I'm not quite getting there. But then when you keep shooting through that, that's where things start compounding and getting a lot faster as far as the learning curve.
We got another sponsor we got to thank. Shotguns West, the Pulas, baby. Check out these wings. Ricky don't got these. He ain't that stylish.
Folks, listen, Zach tries to wear these driving down the road, doing podcasts. It's okay. We still love
Hey,
it.
when you look good, you don't have to apologize. Remember that. Not only can you hit more targets, but you can look good doing it. Give Ryan a call.
That's right.
With that being said,
Let's get back to the show.
We're getting there, but I was broken from my old days as a sub-junior with bad eyes. So I had 2 LASIK eye surgeries on my eyes. And so it was bad as a kid. So I had contacts in the old days and I couldn't shoot. So I had some really bad issues. So when I started again, like I went to Sean Hawley and I was like, dude, I'm broke. You got to help me.
What
and
did
so
you hear?
he started and he told me, he's like, you got to throw lead, right? He said, you got to throw lead, but that's the one thing. But then he started helping me on the side. So he helped build my foundation to where we're getting. I have a long ways to go, but he built that foundation and it's so solid.
So what are some things that you learned from Sean that have really helped elevate your game in the last year that's for your game made it better?
100%. I mean, the guy's good, right? He's good. And so what, with my stance, gun hold, eye positioning, eye focus, and each person's different. You know, we guys talk about that, what works for you. Well, I was so broke, I was like, just help me out here. And so
Where do you start?
he took
What's
me,
the foundation?
he took me under his wing and he did that for me. And Coop was the same, to where we were able to, it's the foot position, it's your balance, it's that weight forward, it's your holds. And I shoot like Ricky and Sean now with driving through the target.
So you're,
Which
you know,
those
you set your
K80s, man,
bodies,
those
set your bodies
K80s
for
just
the target.
really drive through that
They move
target.
through, and that's what, you know, and I've done a lot of phone conversations and stuff with R2. And so one thing you don't know is Coop is colorblind. Red-green colorblind, right?
Yep, proton
Okay.
colorblind.
Yeah, so we've had Matt Bartholow, who's colorblind.
TJ Main.
TJ Mann, that's colorblind.
So how would
How
you
do you see
describe
the targets then?
What would you describe on a target? Like, do you just see like a grayish thing, or do you even know what gray is? I mean, how does it?
It's definitely like a tannish brown color.
Okay.
Very hard to see in a Vegas background.
Okay.
We had to get colorblind glasses.
Is that like those blue glasses, or what are the specific types of lenses that really work well for people that have colorblind?
The red-green highlights or lowlights,
Okay.
Peeless.
which are
The
a
peeless.
purple reddish lens.
Okay.
Very dark.
Is there anything that can be done to fix the colorblind?
We've tried it. The biggest thing that we've seen is you get those particular, for him he's the red green, so we get that purple, pink, red, and that blend, and that's what pulls it. But that's it. But
Is there
to
any
answer your
No,
question,
like, is there any?
No.
So this might be
there is a
thought
contact
to-
lens that Coop's eye doctor right now is looking into, that he's going to at least kind of kick the tires on to see. And
If it
he's
lenses in
we
it.
just met with him last week, and we're open it does. I mean, Coop's a good shooter, but there's certain situations in a
So
light where it
my
does
eye
it.
doctor at home, Dr. Todd File, he has his own practice now, but he used to do stuff with contact lens for baseball. You could see the seams on a 98 mile-an-hour fastball coming at you with these contacts on. Type of a deal. It's weird.
Pull the red out.
I might contact him because, like I told you, I got some clients that are eye doctors or in the eye world, and just see what we can figure out. And that might be like something that's like, bam, it helps a million people.
Well, it's got to be
You
the
know?
most important thing. I mean, we're looking at a target, right? So the definition of the
So
target,
you're
the color, where
seeing
it's
tan. So like,
Without his
Yeah.
glasses, like during a shoot off, if you don't have his glasses on, he's like,
it's hard to see.
he's
he
looking
was
at
like,
us,
what going
right?
on?
But imagine if you could see the
So-
color. I mean,
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, and these are things. that
is
we
there a
take for granted.
specific color that you see better? Like if you were to say orange targets, green targets, black targets, like
Orange targets.
Orange.
No, but the dome.
They have to be orange dome.
So orange dome is good. All orange.
Because
not
you
so
can see
orange.
the
is
black.
terrible.
So you can see black.
Oh yeah.
So if you shot black targets, you're in.
Oh yeah.
So you have you
So
shot
like the
all
old
blacks
Vegas
before? Or
days,
no.
the old Carmichael days.
Yeah, Carmichael.
Sporting clays,
And
yes.
so you like all black sporting clays targets?
Yes.
Okay.
And
So we just
tell
got
you
to
in a-
petition the ATA. We got to go to all blacks, and then we're.
At least orange dome.
I mean, you got some pull, right? I mean,
Orange dome's the biggest thing. It's not that black ring.
He sees that black ring, and so then
Well, that's
So this is
definition.
helping you here with the New York style.
Yes, compared to your all orange target.
Like last year, we shot the all orange.
yes,
Yes.
and I did not shoot very good.
Yeah, I like personally.
I like
like
to see the detail.
I like the
definition
ring on it.
If you see a definition,
because
you
it can look bigger when it's all orange, but just because
Well,
it's
you're seeing a
bigger,
streak.
there's a blur
Streak.
flying
And I
around,
shoot
an
the
orange
streak.
blur, and
Yeah.
I want to see that black because it's going to tell me where is that target directionally in the sky. I think that definition
Well,
is probably
these
the best
might be
way.
some things to look into, and if we have any eye doctors out there that watch the show that know anything about
Yeah,
the
anybody that has
colorblind red
information,
green,
send it in. I mean, we'll
Yeah.
talk about it. I would love to know.
we'd
more.
love to help out people, especially like Coop, because I know in Vegas he struggled, except for when we were doing the lesson that night with him out
Oh,
there.
yeah,
We
that-
turned the lights on, and Coop just started smoking targets, and I said, maybe we can see if John can do a night shoot.
But yeah, you missed
I
one
He
out of
did, he was
75.
flying at 75. I was like,
Rick
I
was
was
like,
like-
what's up?
I was like, what's up, Coop? That's a knot I did. Kobe.
Vegas could be the only place where they could do the whole shoot at night, and people might do it. I mean,
They might.
This is just
Slank.
sleep all day.
Middle of
Slank,
July,
shoot all
you know,
night.
we can come down.
We can do a night shoot in Vegas next year.
Deal.
You heard it here.
It might be coming. It might not.
Don't listen Slinker with a good time, and he will come
It
through.
might happen. So
Hey, Trop Talk listeners, let's take a quick second to thank a couple more amazing sponsors. SOS Clays Shoot Management. They're doing a fantastic job. I love the app. I love being able to see everything on my phone instantaneously. It's freaking awesome. Rick, what do you think?
Yeah, Greg Pink and his group over there. I mean, they've got majority of the satellite grands, majority of the state shoots. I think it's 40 plus state shoots they're doing. But the app, honestly, we were doing a little beta testing with that at the Spring Grand. It's awesome. You can see your squad if they paid. You know, you can see your options, your payouts. The whole works at your fingertips. Great deal. They're just
Ricky
killing
knew
it
how
over
much
there.
money he made before he even got off the line. He was like, hey, I'm buying lunch. I'm like, yeah, good job. We're good to go.
That's
We
right.
also got gun and trophy insurance. I mean, they're the best in the business. I know they're great price. Ricky, you're familiar with them, right?
Yeah, Cole and Larry Cushman been long-time supporters of myself and and I've been a supporter of them, and especially with my college team, we require insurance. It's so fast and easy to sign up and get your insurance in literally 10 minutes. You can have your guns insured, and they're just great. They're great to deal with. Like I said, you can do your trophies also, your wildlife animals and that such, and your guns. It's just a great
It's
product.
always good when you're
Great
traveling
product.
around to have that peace of mind and know that you don't have to worry about losing your stuff forever. And these are expensive things, especially when you got those Craig-offs. You got to keep them insured. So
Oh, exactly.
with that being said,
let's get back to the show.
One thing we want to transition to is obviously you've been a show sponsor. You love the show. You've had a great relationship with Ricky. Tell the folks about Outlaw Engineering. How did you get started? What was your passion and what do you do?
Sure. So it's kind of cool because my dad was an engineer too, and so he owned a company there in Vernal, Utah, for 30 some odd years that he was a partner with. And when I was 6, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be an engineer." Like that was it, right?
Yeah.
And
That's how dreams were made.
Now Coop's 14. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna be a trap shooter.
he is. He wants to be like Ricky.
I would want to be like Ricky too.
So I never deviated, and so when I was 12, I jumped on the survey crew, and they sent me out of town every summer from when I was 12 till I was 18 on the road. And so I never deviated. I never flipped burgers. I never worked at the golf course. I worked in engineering, surveying, just go. And so I never was going to be like, I want to be a fighter pilot. I just
You went all in.
It was all in from the time I was 6 years old, literally. So I went to school for a long time. R1 was like, "You're going to be a doctor," and we got through that. And I started Outlaw 2 years after I graduated college, and we're going on. It'll be 19 years in June of 25.
Congratulations.
And
Nice.
we started just humble organic growth, right? Had a couple $1,000 in the bank account, and we got going, and the land development crash came in 08, and we had a couple pennies saved. We moved home and got heavily involved in the oil and gas that I grew up in, and it's just been a good thing that I started out of my toy hauler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were true organic growth. It was hard. Coop and Chloe were little. I couldn't work in the house, and so I was getting going out of our toy hauler to get the company going. And now, we got 60 employees across 5 states, and it's good.
So fantastic growth, organic growth. Start at the beginning. What gave you the desire and the drive to actually start your own business versus just kind of working for somebody else?
Well, R1 was a hustler.
Yep.
I'm a hustler. It's our business side, right? I don't quit. It's just go. I'm gonna go get her, and it was hard ever working for others. It was I seen what not to do, how to not treat employees. And so I've taken a little bit of those things that I could get, and I just combine them, and I treat our employees good. We do good. We don't have any turnover. And
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
because nowadays, it's hard to find good people. It's even harder to keep them because if you got a good person, other companies know that and they want to kind of poach them out.
Sure.
I've seen that a lot in the business world. They just want to take them
absolutely.
over.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, bigger companies can come with more money. But if you've got loyal employees that really love what you're doing, they see the vision, they see the value, they're respected, they get an opportunity to grow, they're making a living. It's hard to want to leave a good environment that's a healthy environment.
It is.
Because I think at the end of the day, work and money is important, but you have to be mentally okay with your job. You like it, you like the way they
100%.
treat you, and that's lacking in a lot of workplaces. You can make a lot of money, but if you're like you hate your boss or you hate your coworkers, or you hate what you do,
Sure.
what's the point, right? So,
Well, at Outlaw, it's called Outlaw for a reason. It's not in-law. It's you wear shorts, you wear what you want. You look good on that meeting, but you do what you want. We have people. We work from home, and actually, speaking of hiring, we actually hired a trap shooter last month. Sorry, Nico Ilardi out of Wyoming.
Okay.
And
I
so,
know Nico.
yeah, he works for Outlaw now. He wears the Outlaw brand, and it's been good to have him on, and the podcast was big as far as getting Nico and us together.
Really?
And so that sponsorship worked out good for that
Good.
finder's fee on
Good.
year one. So
Nice.
or
That's
how we
pretty
would pull
cool.
some weight around.
Yeah, exactly.
We were just wanting to have fun and maybe buy some drinks or something, but we helped out.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Well, that's good. That's good. At the end of the day, we're reaching right into the core of the trap shooting community, and obviously, Outlaw Engineering isn't specifically a trap shooting brand, but like you said, you found somebody in trap shooting, you got someone there, and I guess for people that are wanting your services, is it mainly all surveying in the oil realm, or explain that to me?
No, so we any type of general engineering, civil, structural, mechanical, electrical, we can do.
Okay.
You know, and so we're
He's a one-stop shop.
100%. Yep.
And you said 4 states. What 4 states are you
Five
covering?
states.
5 states.
Yep. So we're in Utah, we're in Colorado, Texas, Nevada, and Wyoming.
Wow.
Is our main focus. We work in other states, right?
Yeah.
And depending on the job.
Depending on the job, if we get
big
a
enough
call,
size, you
yeah.
say, hey, we can go do it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but that's where
Like
you're spending a lot of your
Texas,
time.
Utah, you know, Colorado, those are our big bulks right now. But I mean, we do big land development projects, you know, so big golf course communities, you know, 2,000-3,000 acre.
What's the
development.
average time of a project for you? I mean, start to finish.
Oh man, that's a loaded question because we do so much in, you know, oil and gas. It can be a day, it can be a year, and it can be ongoing, you know, so it varies.
So what's the best way to reach out to you? Because I know people have asked me, said, hey man, we looked at this Outlaw, and you get on the website and there's like nothing. Like there's a reason for that.
We have flown low for a reason.
Yeah.
We're quiet, we're humble, we just kind of go, and it's just, we've been operating on word of mouth. So Outlaw's been lucky enough to hire the greatest marketing guy that's out there.
Yep.
And we brought him on, and he's going to start bringing that content. His name is John Slinker.
I've heard of him.
We've heard of it. It's not bad.
He's an alright guy.
The guy's a wizard, but he's been, you know, he's been a little busy shooting and all.
Yeah,
you
been a
know,
little
so-
busy, traveled all summer, you know. Gotta get back to work, folks. you know,
When you're
so-
putting 100% of your time into building the greatest state shoot in the country,
Yeah.
you can have a little bit of off time. You know, now he's refocused, he's recentered, he's back on track. You know, we're catching some misspelling in the posts. I mean, it happens. It happens.
Oh, Lord.
I gotta be careful,
Folks, this might be Zach's last episode. It's okay.
If
R2's gonna be the new host.
if a bloopers reel comes out, I just can never
No, we
know.
need to do a bloopers reel. 100%.
I don't know if I can afford it. We'll just keep. I'm sorry.
June
Joe.
Nannini will be broke if we do a blooper reel.
This is not good. Let's just
But, so, the easiest way to get a hold of you is Outlaw, isn't it? What's your website?
www.outlaw-engineering.com. Yep, the hyphen. Yep.
You know.
So you can go on there, you can fill out an inquiry. You can send Ricky a text, you can send Zach
right.
a text. They have my numbers.
I'll connect.
It'll be posted up here or down here, according to John.
Whatever way he wants to go with it.
You can send us an email, send us a text, whatever, you know. So
But yeah, because I mean, you do everything. Like you said, golf
Yep.
courses.
Yep.
You do high-rise stuff. Any?
Yep, we do structures. Yep,
so-
we do all that. We do environmental. We have a big environmental program. You know, we have archaeologists and botanists and biologists and paleontologists. So that alone is a whole big
Whole
monster
different
itself.
thing.
Working on the NEPA policy stuff. So it's good.
Perfect. So hopefully, we can get him some clients instead of some employees.
100%. We'll take it
either
all.
take it.
Either or is good, right?
Bring it, yeah, bring it. We are-
Coop needs to shoot more targets.
Yeah.
Got him.
Yeah, I see there was just
Hashtag where's Coop?
Hashtag where's Coop? That's the new hashtag.
he's going everywhere, but
All right, Trap Talk listeners, let's take a couple seconds and thank a couple more sponsors. First of all, Remington's been with us since day one. I've been shooting these shells since 2007. I shoot the Nitro 27 from the 27-yard line, ounce and eighth, 7.5, and STS ounce and eighth, eighths for singles and doubles. They've worked great for me, as they do a lot of top shooters all around the country. Give them a try. Don't forget the gun club line when you're practicing and you're wanting to save a little bit of money.
We'd also like to thank another sponsor, Outlaw Engineering. Randy Freston, R2. I've known Randy since 1988. They do engineering, surveying, drafting, GIS, civil, structural, land development, wetland permitting. They do
And
it
they're
all.
friends of trap shooters. I mean, they're a trap shooting family. They've been in the ATA forever. His dad's been involved. They're involved. They're a beautiful family. They're great people. And we just love that they listen to
Yep.
the show, and we love that they support Trap Talk.
Yeah, his dad was past president in 1989. So I really want to thank those guys for the support. I really appreciate it here at Trap
With
Talk.
that being said,
Let's get back to the show.
I mean, it's fun. I was 14 and shooting trap and traveling around and starting to get
So was
into
I.
it, and it was one of those things where it was just really cool. And I think looking back at it, I really didn't understand and appreciate how much my parents really did. Because at the time when you're 14, you really don't know what money is, or what time is, or what, like, when, you know, the things that I remember that, like, must have literally sucked was, like, we'd shoot all weekend long, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and sometimes because, like, I was always wanting to shoot off. It wasn't like now where I'm like, hey, let's go to dinner. Like, it was like I wanted to shoot off every single shoot off.
Yeah.
And sometimes we were 4, 5, 6 hours away from the house, and the shoot offs weren't done until 6 or 7 o'clock at night. Well, Dad had to go to work on Monday morning, but he's out there with me, and then we get done, and then what am I doing on the ride home? I'm sleeping in the truck. He's driving 6 hours
Oh,
back.
that sounds familiar.
And then, and then
Hashtag worst Coop sleeping in the passenger seat.
and then Monday morning at 5 a.m. he's back to work. You know, and it's like for me now looking at that, I'm like, man, that was a sacrifice because you know I don't even have kids yet. I get done with a shoot and I don't want to get up on Monday morning the next day after you drive.
Well, it's the same thing.
5 a.m.
My dad was the same way. I mean, he would do same deal. Had to be to work at 7 a.m. and driving all night. And I remember I was like 14 or 15. I was driving, and Dad's like, I just need an hour of sleep because I got to work 16 hours tomorrow.
Correct.
And it was like, and you look back at it now thinking, wow. I mean, I remember my dad did stuff to get me guns and took out, high interest loans to be able to afford stuff when I had my guns stolen the time and different things. Sure. And it's just weird that you look back at it, you see, wow, the sacrifices, because it was a big sacrifice. And Holly understand your wife. Now, how long you and Holly been together?
So
where'd you meet at?
Well, that's a cool story.
Let's hear this.
She was cutting hair in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
And went in there and got my hair cut, and I was like, how you doing?
How you doing? Can you trim up these bad boys?
And it was cool. She was having a party at her family's house the next day, and I was like, oh, I'm coming to that. She's like, no, you're not. I'm like, I'll be there. And she's like, no, you're not. And I showed up.
Did you show up?
And then her family's like, who is this?
How did you find it?
Well, because, she told me her address,
Oh.
And she's like, everyone's like, who is this guy? I was like, hey, what's up? I'm in.
And here I am. We were such good friends.
Here I am. I didn't leave.
Best haircut ever.
So actually, we started Outlaw a month before we got married officially, and so then we got married the next month, and that obviously was planned. But it'll be 18 and a half years now, 19 next year.
Because she's all about you guys shooting and going to the shoots and coming along too.
1,000% when they can.
When they can.
They love it. So the little girls, they all like Alice, right? And so they get to hang out with Alice. And
who's
we
Alice?
have fun.
Weeby.
Weeby?
You know who
She's a good shot.
Alice is a student of mine too, but yeah.
All American shooter. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So they like to hang out, obviously they have tons. That's their next version of our trap shooting family.
Yeah.
Get your butt kicked in a shoot off.
Yeah.
She did. Coop lost a shoot off to a girl.
Last night.
I said, it happens. I've been beat by a lot of them, folks. It's one of those things you just scrap it up and go, Hopefully there weren't a lot of people watching.
It's part of it. It happens.
It is. It doesn't matter who. Trust me.
Hey, if he's gonna lose, I want it to be to her, man. Let's go.
Let's go.
Throwing a target or two.
Yeah. Listen,
you tried your best.
That's the fun thing about shooting is, like I told you last night after a shoot off, I've lost well more shoot offs than I've won.
And people need to hear
it
that.
happens.
They need to hear
You
it.
just got to be humble about it,
All right, folks, we got to take a quick second and give a shout out to the Cardinal Center in Marengo, Ohio. They hold the Cardinal Classic, and they also hold the Ohio State Shoot, which is home of the first back fence shootout. Ricky, what do you think about Ohio?
Listen, I love the Cardinal Center. I actually broke the first 100 from the 27 there at their very first shoot ever. Great place, Jake Spangler and their whole clan there. They do an awesome job at running the shoots. The Ohio State shoots ran by the Ohio State Association. The Cardinal Classic's right after the Grand, so if you're looking for some more points right after the Grand, hit that up so you can get a little more points than old Zach here. But listen, it's a great shoot. Great facility.
It really is. I personally love the RVs. They've got great camping there. They've got a great time, good shoot, good target presentation. Go check it out. It's worth putting on your list. With that being said,
let's get back to the show. And that's one of the greatest things about this sport is, you meet so many great people, and it's all family. And I've had my butt beat by brand new shooters And some people were like, "Oh man, they're new, man. They shouldn't have beat you." And I was like, "It was their day.
It's their day.
It wasn't
At the end
hard.
of the day, if you break the targets, you do your job, you're good. If you don't, then the opportunity's on the table for somebody else to
Like
take
my
you out.
motto's always been, when you go out to shoot off, all you gotta do is break your targets. All they can do is tie you. This
Correct.
is a sport where you can't be beat unless you miss.
If you're doing your job,
That's it.
you're fine. But sometimes we don't do
There's
our
no
job.
extra
and-
points
and
for a
you
smoke
can't-
ball.
You can't
True.
be like, oh, well, they beat me. Well, if you didn't do your job and they won, then it is what it is. It is what it is.
Plain and simple.
Just the same as an event. I mean, we go out there in the event, and if you do your job, you're up on the board. You have an opportunity. If you don't, you're just kind of in the mix.
The most targets you can break out of 100 is 100. It's not 101. Someone can't get 102. It's 100. So you do your job, you break your 100, you move on, you shoot off. That's plain and simple.
Haven't got there yet. We're working on that.
R2's working on his 100. Now,
You've got one yet?
no.
So neither. So we're waiting. So we get hundreds this week.
We got a lot to do.
So Coop's goal, long-term goal, is make the All-American team. Do you have any short-term goals?
Work on doubles.
Okay, because that's one of the biggest things I tell all my students is have your short-term goals, which is shoot goals. Like here, hey, I want to break 50 straight. I want to break a 75. I want to break 100. Whatever it might
Win
be.
a trophy
But
in your
win
class.
a trophy. This, that, and the other. Then you want to have your long-term goals, which is your yearly goals, like your All-American team, your state team,
Averages.
stuff like that. Maybe have a good average. But by setting these goals and writing them down, this was a big deal that Frank Hoppy told me when I was a kid, and he made me write them down. Now I just stick them in my head. But write them down and then look at them. So I actually, even though they're in my head, I'll sit and analyze stuff and go, okay, I need to do this shoot coming up, this is what I need to work on, blah, blah, blah. Because I've been shooting other disciplines, other games, and, deviating away from trap a little bit. So when I came Monday, Zach's the one that conned me into shooting the singles. I wasn't going to shoot. I was going to deal with some customers, and he called. He's like, hey, we got 50 targets. I'm like, he goes, no, you were shooting. I was like, all right, fine. I run it, I sign up, and I go out there, I'm thinking, okay, first target, wham, and I'm like, ooh,
That's not good.
slow it down now, and
That's not an ounce in the quarter.
yeah. So I'm like, okay, we need to slow it down, not shoot so fast. And I went back to just each target, broke 100 straight. Zach's won the first 200 singles so far, folks. And he won the doubles today with a low 99, which is good.
Little thank you. Little
Yeah,
dicey.
the last
Chippy,
last target, I think it was the size of my pinky nail.
Hey, it counts. Like you said,
It
it doesn't
did.
matter the size of
It
the
did.
smoke ball. Just get it straight.
Bullard dusted the target harder than he hit it, but
It's okay. I hit like 9 more though. It is what it is. I'm
Hashtag
sorry.
where's Bullard?
Hey,
I'm
when you
sorry.
look good, you don't have to
You
apologize.
don't have to
That's right.
apologize.
hey, that's it. That's the new shirt coming out.
I like that. It is a lot of fun, and I'm glad to hear that you guys got goals. I'm glad to hear that you're back into the sport. You're full bore. You're excited. You're traveling. I mean, you're doing the right things.
You're back in the trap shooting family like it was back when we were in the 80s
1000%.
and early 90s.
We are having
and had a
the
blast.
time of our life.
And that's
this
a good
last
thing.
year.
That's a cool thing,
Yeah.
father son,
Yes.
this stuff. Coop's getting to enjoy all the travel and stuff.
Well, and I gotta say, like
Princess.
this whole last year, where we did not go to one club, we didn't go to one shoot in a different state where someone didn't say, "Hey, are you Randy Freston?" Oh, yeah. Oh, I knew your dad.
Yeah.
Or they would say, "Are you really Randy Freston's grandson?"
Yep.
And Cooper's like, "Yeah." And oh man, he did this, and I can't tell you when my dad's passed on. I miss him dearly, and for people to come up and do that,
And you were like the Trap Talk advocate.
1,000.
Wearing the Trap Talk shirt.
I had one of the first ones. I had one of the first ones. I probably did have the first one.
We put him in the super fan right there.
Where are these shirts? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they sent me a picture. Little homie.
100%. I'm all, you guys watch that? If you don't, you should right now.
I can't believe it.
California State shoot.
100%.
People tell me that they
all
sit
day.
down on Friday night and watch it on the TV like they're watching a show.
Well, that's what we do with the
I'm
Freston
like,
house, man.
There's a few people that told me that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, you're watching me and Ricky. I mean, it's just.
And so Holly's like, she's like, oh, there's Rick and Zach again. She's cooking dinner.
We're the dinner date.
And she's just like rolling, and she's like, those guys are such dorks.
I said, have you heard of HBO? Like, there's some good stuff out there.
ESPN, baby.
The Sopranos. Like, come on, watch that again.
All right, folks, we got to take another quick break and thank one of our show sponsors, 73 Pointers Ranch, Jonesburg, Missouri, Rick and Carla Burke. Best place in the area to go shoot chuckers and pheasants and have a great time. Rick, we got to get you down there.
Yeah, I need to come in. Hopefully I can do some hunting with you guys and come to your the annual clay shoot in August right after the Grand.
It's a lot of fun. It's the Optimist Club charity shoot. They throw a charity shoot. They put it on, and it's wonderful. I think last year they had over 100 entries into it, and it's just a good time. With that being said,
let's get back to the show. But no, and that's a cool thing. You know, we've done this now. We're going on getting ready to do our 3rd season.
Yeah, it's coming up.
And it's crazy, you know.
We just did 100 episodes with Kay.
Yeah.
You know, that was awesome. I mean, all-time
it's
legend.
just, it's so cool. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to get the content, get people's stories, their shooting stories, their family stories, work story, whatever it might be that's in the shooting world.
Let me add a perspective to that. So, like, if my dad could see what you guys are doing now,
oh yeah,
he was a promoter. Okay,
Absolutely.
he didn't have an agenda. His agenda was to promote 100%. And that goes back to he liked those good targets for people to come and enjoy. Right?
Shoot. That's right.
So, if he could see what you guys are doing now, I mean, what's the goal of the ATA? To promote the sport of trap shooting.
Yeah.
This podcast, this company, hands down, is doing more for trap shooting than anything in my era.
Yep.
Besides those people like my dad that put in that personal time, what you guys are doing is bigger than anything that's ever been done in my era. And
Well,
that's
we
why
appreciate that.
when I was
That's
here,
amazing.
like when I called Ricky, I'm like, dude, I need some help shooting, right? And he's like, hey, have you seen a podcast? I'm like, no, I need some help shooting. And so then he figures me off. I'm like, so I never watched one or listened to one podcast in my life, ever. I'm too busy, right? Listen to my first one, to Trap Talk.
Yeah.
It's the way we got to keep
And,
going.
that's why when
I'm
he
here.
said, hey man, I want to be a part of the show, and I was like, well, you want to come on an episode? He's like, well, dude, you need help, sponsor something? I'm in.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what I remember calling Sling. He's like, what? And told him, he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh yeah. And I'm like, yeah, it's not like guns or anything, or we're not, ammo deals or what, but it's so cool because we don't have an agenda. Our agenda is to promote shooting, folks.
We're here to have fun.
Well, yeah, we do have fun.
We have fun. We shoot. We talk with our friends. We have
Wanna
stories.
be an outlaw.
We sit here and we just get to kick it with some really cool people and hear their perspective. And it's all about sharing perspective, saving stories, documenting the history of the game, and getting people excited about
That's
coming
what
back out.
you remember when we did the first episode. I was the first one, and Zach's like, after I was like, dude, you need this. I'm like, I'm not doing this. And then Jody, we were talking about it, and Zach and I'm like, yeah. I go, well, you know what? This would be great to promote shooting. No one's ever done anything like this. Let's do it and try to be the best we can be, and go after everybody, the legends in shooting and people that are still around, and just get their stories. Because it's like when last year we did the Jeff Wagner story, we did the Jerry Williams story, but
both great guys.
yeah, and these guys are like, hey, my grandkids will be able to listen to this in 20 years.
Let me add to that though. So my mother, big time trap shooter,
Absolutely.
obviously.
Yep.
She was the USTA, secretary for
Secretary.
umpteen, 13, 15 years, right?
Yep.
She paid her dues with my dad. She loves the podcast. And
Shout out to Ann.
I mean,
Thank you, Ann.
She's gotten to see. So whenever I was going around, we talked about my dad. The first thing Gary shared, Charlie Long, Ray Stafford, how's your mother?
Yeah.
The first thing they say to me is, how's your mother, right? So here's my mom. She knows everybody that Ricky knows.
Oh,
the whole
absolutely.
things, right? They love Mama Ann. Back to your point of being able to watch it, here's a lady that's been removed from trap shooting for 30 years.
30 years.
She knows everyone just like, her and Stump's wife are like,
Yeah.
family. And here she gets to watch it. It's wonderful, right? It's wonderful to her. So it's beyond even what you guys are doing. And that's why I'm saying if I have my way, this thing's going to go. And I'm not stopping.
Yeah, we're wanting to just get this out and just promote shooting. And whether it be, we got the same Make Trap Great Again, but, we shoot all the disciplines. I shoot a little more than Zach does, but we just love to shoot clay targets.
Yeah.
And it ain't just about one deal with that. Listen, if you're out there shooting and enjoying it and bringing new people into the sport of shooting, doesn't have to be just trap,
100%.
but bring people into shooting in the proper way with the gun safety and proper etiquette and all that. Our sports grow tremendously because everybody loves to do stuff outdoors.
I think so.
And I mean, what you're saying to that point, Ricky, but I like the older guys that you're bringing on.
Yep.
They'll listen to them, right? They've been around the block. They know what they're doing, and be able to have that ability. I look at like at the NBA. You get the NBA. You had your players of the 70s, 80s, and 90s, right? And we can do that with trap shooting because you have to be careful. You know, they always say big L's to go. But there's also different shooters at different areas that are so good that are like, hey, during that time, this guy
was the best.
or this shooter was the best. And I've always looked at trap shooting like that. Like
Renius,
100%.
Stafford. We'd like to get Stafford on.
You got it. Jedi Master.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, and he just won the handicap in the prelim week. 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago, broke 98. You know, I mean,
there's just some great shooters, and I think a lot of it. I mean, and just from talking to people, there's some great shooters out there that just don't want to self-promote because they're just not interested.
And we're not looking for that. That's fine. We want to hear the stories.
That's what I like.
Because it's like with Steve Carmichael. Our episode was Carmichael talking about. I mean, he's the greatest left-handed shooter ever.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know,
that's no doubt.
And just some of the stories with the Army stuff and that, and the Olympics, and that's with Stafford. You know, I mean, he was in the Olympics and the Army and, all that. It's just a different era and people can hear it's just, and that's what I said. I wish Big L was still alive, Frank Hoppy. There's a lot of, there's
Big L
handfuls of people.
That's what I'm saying. Break into those areas.
I got a phone call today from, longtime friend, good friend Tank Lunsford, who Tank's episode was a great episode, and he said it. He's like, everybody we used to shoot with, 10 years ago, they're gone. Mm-hmm. And that's, I've dealt with that. I'm 50. Everybody I shot with as a kid when I was your age was 30s to 40s.
100%.
And I was like, no big deal. We had Britt on. I mean, Britt's a legend. Mm-hmm. I mean, and these are the things we just want to.
They go away.
We want to have these and have this content, and it's there forever.
Right.
All right, folks, we need to take a quick second and get to a new show sponsor, Big Red Motorsports. Big Red, they're personal friends of mine, Jason and George Lee, and they're also a personal sponsor of mine.
Now, I'll say this. Ricky looked great driving around in that side-by-side. I got some free rides down at Tucson, the Autumn Grand. I think it's awesome that they deliver all across the country, and obviously they love trap shooters, they love trap shooting, and they're doing a great job.
Listen, they got Can-Am, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Triton trailers. Hit them up. We'll take care of you guys. With that being said,
let's get to the show.
Talking about stories, is there any stories from the past, either with you and Ricky or you and your dad, that you'd like to share today?
We can't put those on the
man. So I remember literally Ricky pulling up in Frank's Suburban, great blue,
okay, two-tone blue, baby blue in the dark.
I remember him pulling up. Bigger kid, right? I was a skinny kid.
Yeah, he was like skinnier Kooper.
Beefy. But here comes the big homie bouncing out, and everyone was talking about this new shooter, right? And so I'm at Spanish Fork Gun Club. That was before they had pavement there.
Yeah.
That was before they had grass there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was dirt, right?
Yeah.
And here comes Ricky, and literally we introduced ourselves to each other, and we shook hands, and we have been literally friends ever since. And there's been a lot of stories, a lot of good times at the Grand.
Yeah.
In Vandalia, I miss Vandalia. I'm not going to lie.
I know, Vandalia was cool.
We had a good time taking golf carts and doing stuff you weren't supposed to do,
Imagine that.
And Ricky was
Ricky was
a little bit older and a little bit more, adventurous. And so kid from Utah, I'm like, let's go.
He was a Mormon. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, he's like, Ricky, get my kid out of that car. Yes, sir.
Where are you guys going?
Nowhere.
We were going to drive anywhere.
I'm just glad they didn't have phones and stuff back
That
then.
is true. We had a lot of fun, and that's the coolest thing is both of my boys, Trey and Tyler, grew up at a gun club. Trey doesn't shoot, but I remember Trey, he wanted to come because he wanted to go hang out with the girls, and it was so funny is you could take your kid to the gun club, and he'd be like, hey, Dad, I'll see you later. I'm like, all right, well, you know where the camper's at? And then about dinner time we come on, I'm hungry. And I'm like, yeah, I ate. Oh, you did? I'm like, no, I was waiting on you. And then boom, we go eat. I was like, how was your day? He's like, oh, dude, it was great. I was over at so-and-so. I'm like, who? And then I'd meet people through, they got a son and he doesn't shoot either. And we hung out. And so just different. And that's the coolest thing about the whole trap shooting or shooting community.
Sure.
everybody looks out for everybody.
100%.
No matter what.
I always knew that there was someone in a state somewhere. If I was in trouble, that I could say, "Hey, Dad, here's where I'm at." You would just get, and I just told Coop, it's the same thing applies, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, when I see some of those old guys like Charlie and I give them a hug and like tell them I love them, right? I do, and they're like, Charlie gives me that look, like, what's up? But I really do. They mean that much to me, and we have a different perspective, Ricky and I, like. Where we were that young kid,
Absolutely.
where these guys they're still around. We lost Mike Jordan. He was one of my buddies, man. He treated me so good, and I mean it.
I introduced.
That's why I'm telling these guys, hey, I love you, man. Thank you for
the
everything.
original MJ. I never forget telling Trey. Trey's like, "I'm meeting Michael Jordan," and I said, "Yeah, the original MJ," and he was like, "Oh," and he's like, "Daddy's white." I go, "Yeah, this is Mike Jordan, the originator of the super handicap," and he was like, "Oh." Amerigo Pagnaroli. Did you know Amerigo?
I didn't, but I know of him.
He taught Trey how to play soccer. Italian, from
remember.
Italy, Remington rep. He played soccer. He sat there at the Southern Grand and showed traces, and it was just crazy. But that's the cool thing about this whole shooting community.
Sure.
That you're getting
Now Coop's in it.
to experience
Involved,
that.
yeah.
Hook, line,
That's
and
what we
sinker.
have. We have a hashtag out there, folks. It's hashtag Where's Coop.
Where's Coop?
Coop?
Where's Coop?
He might be at the practice track.
Coop's in the practice trap a lot.
Might be sleeping in the truck. We don't know.
Hey, he's coming back from Vegas 2 weeks ago. It was midnight. Ricky's driving to Tucson. I'm heading to Roosevelt.
We're on the phone. We're keeping each other awake
It's 1
because
o'clock in the morning.
Passenger Princess is
Ricky
sleeping.
goes, what's that noise?
Oh, that's.
That was his snoring.
Getting to wake up to Ricky's voice isn't that bad.
I don't think anyone's ever said that.
I appreciate that, Coop.
Let's ask Holly if she agrees.
Holly loves me. It's okay. But that was funny. We were keeping each other awake, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, Passenger Princess is out."
He's gone.
On that note, I think we're going to get out of here. But is there anything you'd like to share before we get out of here? It's been great having you on. I'm sure we'll have you on again and tell more stories. But is there anything we're missing today?
Yeah, I want to say thanks to Sean Hawley for sure. He's a big help to me. We were broke. We needed that guy to fix us, and he's done it. He's built my foundation. Thank my mother,
Shout out to
obviously
Sean.
Holly, my wife Holly, not Sean Hawley.
Yeah, your wife, Holly.
And Chloe, Coop's twin.
Yeah.
And the two little girls just for helping us, and anyone you got, buddy.
Just grandma. Biggest
Just grandma.
scorer ever.
Yeah, she gets excited. She likes to get his scores, and
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. She's back living in that realm that she was in for.
Now you got to get her that
Because of the
SOS
show.
app because you can see those scores like right off the
Oh,
bat. I was saying
bam.
that today. I was like, bam, I'm on. I was getting notifications. Shout out to Greg Pink. That thing is wild. I love it. But
It is a good app.
we really appreciate you guys being on the show.
Sure.
We really appreciate you supporting.
Yeah, we
sharing,
really appreciate you
sharing
supporting.
with everyone that you love Trap Talk, watching it the way you do, wearing the gear, putting the posts up. I mean, it means the world to us, and it just keeps us going, and it gives us drive and fire because. I'll tell you, we've been doing this over 100 episodes now.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, it's some work. You gotta
Oh, yeah,
you
we're not
gotta
quitting.
set it up.
You're
You
not
gotta-
quitting.
It's work with Zach. folks.
it's hard working with me, people. I'm not easy to work with. Obviously,
love
Ricky is, but we're doing the best we can
We
to keep
enjoy
it
it.
rolling and to get good
We're
content
doing
out.
it for you guys. It's fun. We enjoy having everybody on,
100%.
talking. We're going to be doing some more shooting videos and stuff, just to show some different things. So we got some
We
stuff
like
coming
shooting.
up.
We like shooting. We like videos to shoot.
Yes, we do.
That's how it's all. But we really appreciate it. You guys are gonna have a great week. We're gonna,
Thanks.
we're gonna see those goals get hit, and we're gonna march on into season 3 with Outlaw, and it's gonna be
That's
awesome.
right.
So
Let's go.
thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you next Friday.
Good luck, everyone.
With that being said, Trap Talk listeners, if you love everything about Trap Talk, please subscribe to our page. Also, throw some likes on the videos that you enjoy. It really means the world to us.
Yeah, comment on each episode. We read them. We respond to them. With that, let's get to the show.